Broadcasting Code, authorizing the National Broadcasting Commission to impose fines on broadcast stations for alleged breaches of the code, as it ruled that administrative and regulatory bodies could not exercise judicial powers. Justice Rita Ophelia Jumagovia delivered judgment in the suit instituted by Media Rights Agenda against the NBC, following the Commission's imposition of fines of 5 million naira each on a television station and 3 pay TV platforms in 2022 for allegedly undermining Nigeria's national security by broadcasting documentaries on banditry in Nigeria. She held that the NBC, not a court of law, acted above its powers by imposing such fines and issued an order of perpetual injunction restraining the Commission or anyone acting on its behalf from further imposing any fine or any media platform or broadcast station in Nigeria for any alleged offense committed under the Nigeria Broadcasting Code. Joining me now is former NUJ Chairman, Lagos State Council, Dr. Kasim Akinreti, for more on this development. Dr. Akinreti, thank you so much for talking to us.
Thank you.
So they're saying that NBC is not a court.
Yes.
And should not be constituted in such manner. What do you make of this judgment?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the judgment is in sync in terms of the parts of rule of law and democratic norms. I saw these landmines, when we were doing the review of the code. As I represented the NUJ, and I was trying to point out this particular aspect that look, we are going to NBC will perform the role of an administrative role, regulatory role, and then judicial role. There seems to be a conflict because my studies on media regulation in 3 countries have shown that these have been the area of landmines. With Ofcom in the UK, Office of Communication, that's all been a challenge. Yeah. And of course, for the Media Commission in Ghana, this has also been a subject of litigation. Media houses will never wait for them to be sanctioned, neither will the journalists, because media law has given journalists and broadcasting organizations 3 powers. First, that has to do with what we call absolute privilege to report, to broadcast. 2 is a matter that has to do with public good, and then the 3rd one is the public interest. Once you can argue these 3 premises in court, there's no way you know
public good, public interest.
Well,
the case of this matter, is talking about national security.
Absolutely.
Maybe you are revealing too much in a way that can damage the position of security forces. Is that a relevant concern?
Well, what is the procedure for getting to that? That was part of my thesis. That you have to show to everyone that you are clear about this. There must be a complaint from individuals, organizations, or groups that you need to show. And you need to also invite those that are concerned to defend themselves. If they have to argue within these 3 purviews, honestly, there's going to be a challenge.
So the standard practice is that if this code is violated, they're supposed to take those people to court?
Absolutely. No. The first thing is for you to have a complaint.
Okay.
Second is for you to review that complaint in line with the fair hearing clause for those media organizations.
Who now exercises the sanction?
No, the law has provided for NBC, for every regulator to impose sanctions. It's not only in Nigeria. That's why I give an example of the Ofcom in the UK and then the Media Commission in Ghana. They also have similar challenge. But what they have done is to be a little more transparent about this, which means the appointment, because there is a lacuna with the autonomy of the NBC. And so if there is a lack of trust or public perception about an agency, that becomes a problem. But in those 2 clients I've mentioned, there is seemingly trust, and then the corporations of the stakeholders.
What's the way forward?
But in Nigeria, there seems to be a challenge on that.
What's the way forward for NBC as it is currently constituted?
What I just wanted to do is let us have a stakeholders meeting once again and do a review and look at those areas of something that has to do with fines or withdrawal of license. Because those 2 last stages, of regulation is always problematic. So once we have a stakeholders meeting, we agreed on what we do, then we follow the procedure as we done in other parts of the world. You could, for example, we publish a complaint, put the name of the organization, put the name of the individuals. And so this is a complaint against you. Then they will invite that media organization to come out, yes, let's give a fair hearing. Why did you publish this? Why did you broadcast this? Because if it's against the public good and public interest, which national security is one, then of course we must be able to explain.
So your concern is the process before the sanction?
No, because that's exactly, we need to tidy up this area. Because if we don't do, my concern is that the NBC does not go the way of the National Nigerian Press Council, in which means, what do you call it, the stakeholders will not believe in it and will not make everything effort to, ensure that their efforts are
and it's not perceived to be working out the interest of government.
And it should work in the interest of all, not only the interest of government, but the interest of the people.
Former NUJ Chairman, Lagos State Council, Dr. Kasim Akinrete, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts with us.
Thank you.
And now to Katsina State, where government, in collaboration with UNICEF, has commenced the process of returning thousands of pupils